Jaya. Gopijana Balaba Grivaradhari Jaya. Gopijana Balaba Grivaradhari Jaya. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Chiravanachari. Yamuna Chiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopijana Balaba Grivaradhari Jaya. Gopijana Balaba Grivaradhari Jaya. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Chiravanachari. Yamuna Chiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitago Haribo, 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 Nitago Haribo, Nitago. Nitaigo Haribo, 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 Nitago Haribo. Jayam Vishnupā Paramahansa Paribhrakacharya Sutra Sutra Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupā Paramahansa Paribhrakacharya Sutra Sutra Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki. ISKCON Founder Chair Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की द्वारका धाम की जगन्नाथ धाम की गंगा माँ यमुना माया की तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की श्री कृष्ण बलराम की श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की श्री निताय गौरचंद्र की निताय गोपी मनंदी. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimandasya Gananganan Salakaya Chakshusrumitanjena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manavishta Stapita Yana Bhutale Sayarupa Kadama Yadadati Supadantikam Vande Hansi Guru Sutana Padakamana Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sakajata Sagana Raghunata Vitanta Sajiva Sadhuita Savaduta Parajana Saita Sri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Parasahagana Lalita Sri Vishakavita He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhan Sutadevi Panamami Haripriye Vanchakapatrubhyascha kripasindhivaiva cha patitanam pavanabhebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Namo mahabhadanyaya Krishna premapadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namine Gauradasi. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anandalila Maya Vigraya Imabadavi Chavisundaraya Tasma Maha Premarasa Pradaya Chitanya Namo Namaste. So I thank everyone for being here this evening for the Bhagavad Gita class, and also those who are watching from Vrindavan TV. So we are beginning the Purushottama Yoga section of the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, so Purushottama Yoga. So which means it's a yoga by which through the understanding of the Supreme Person. Of course, the speaker, as usual, is Lord Sri Krishna. In chapter 14, the previous chapter, so Lord Krishna described how everyone is bound in this material world through the modes of material nature, guna, tritaya guna, the three modes of material nature, how everyone is bound. And Lord Krishna has explained that the last verse is how Krishna said that the Brahman is he is the basis of Brahman. Brahman oye patisht aham. That I am the basis of a personal Brahman. So that Brahman, that understanding of the Brahman is what's going to be explained in this chapter 15. So it's very, very interesting chapters. So I read the Sanskrit, you can all repeat after me, and then we read the translation and purports, and then some commentary, some gloss on that. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca ūrdhva-mūlam adhaḥ-śākham aśvattham avyayam chandāṁsi yasya parṇāni yastam veda-vit śrī-bhagavān uvāca ūrdhva-mūlam adhaḥ-śākham aśvattham avyayam chandāṁsi yasya parṇāni yastam veda-vit. Somebody chant. Ūrdhva-mūlam adhaḥ-śākham. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca, the Supreme Lord said, ūrdhva-mūlam, with roots above, adhaḥ, downwards, śākham, branches, aśvattham, a banyan tree, prāhur, he said, avyayam, eternal, chandāṁsi, the Vedic aims yasya, of which parṇāni, the leaves, ya, anyone who term that Veda knows, sa, he, veda-vit, the knower of the Vedas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is BG-15.1 Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic aims. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Purport. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. These tree roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand the indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. This process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principles of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entities' activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward. But there is such a thing. The tree can be found, that tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, then the three gunas, then the five gross elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, then the 10 senses, the Sendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees. And the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. The material world is the perverted reflection, so the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness. But in reality, the Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purusha is the Supreme Lord himself. And that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of Godhead himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. So this is very long purport by Srila Prabhupada. Very, very interesting verse. ūrdhva-mūlam, adhaḥ-śākham, aśvattham, prāhur, avyayam, chandāṁsi, yasya, parṇāni, yasya, veda-vit. So Lord Krishna is saying there is a tree. There's a tree which has its roots upward and the branches downward. So we can ask that where is that tree? Where do we find that tree which has the root upward and the branches downwards? So it's difficult to see. And of course, as Srila Prabhupada pointed out in the purport, that when you go to a river and you look down, so what you see are the reflections of the trees that are on the side of the river, that are on the banks of the river. So everything is upside down. You will see the branches, they are downward when you look down. And then the root is said to be upward. So that is just an example. And also sometimes you find that the banyan tree is mentioned here that this tree, aśvattham, this is banyan tree. We know the banyan tree is such a tree that when it grows, and then the branches, they come down, and then they form a root, and then they again grow up again. So it's like, which means one banyan tree can occupy a whole forest. It is mentioned in the scriptures that in the planet of Lord Shiva, there's a big banyan tree, very big tree, and this tree is so expansive, so extensive that you cannot even find the original. You cannot find the origin of this tree. One tree covers the whole planet. This is the place where Lord Shiva stays. So the tree that has its root upward and the branches downward, so obviously we have never seen it. We cannot see it. Why? Because as mentioned here, this tree, by which when you go to this bank of the river and you look into the river, you see that the trees are reflected. You can see the reflection of the tree going up, downward. You can see the reflection. So, which means the real tree is on the top. The actual tree is on the top, whereas the reflection is what you are seeing in the river. That's the reflection. So similarly, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. And when we talk of reflection, then we talk of something that has no permanence. It has no reality. Reflection come and go. So the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. And because it's a reflection of the spiritual world, everything is temporary. Happiness, distress, pain, pleasure, everything is temporary in the material world. There is nothing that has permanence in the material world. Today, you may be rich, and tomorrow you may be poor. Because material world, everything is temporary. Just like, you are eating some food now, and you are getting some relishment because you are eating. So eventually, you will finish eating. Your stomach is full, and then after a few hours, you start becoming hungry again. Because everything is temporary. Whatever reciprocation you can get in the material world, it's all temporary situation. So it mentions here that the chandāṁsi yasya parṇāni. So this tree of this aśvattham tree, by which it has a reflection by which you are seeing the reflection of it. So it's a branches, and it has got various leaves. And this leaf, they are said to be chandāṁsi, chandam, which means the Vedic aims. And what are these Vedic aims? These Vedic aims are the processes of fruitive activities. Because in order to live in the material world, so we have to, follow some scriptural rules and regulations, some fruitive activities, and especially that which recommend sacrifices. So that when we follow that which recommends sacrifices, then we get the fruit. We get the fruit of our, activities. Just like we live here in Vrindavan, so many people come. People are coming every day to Vrindavan. And people are coming, apart from the usual tourists, but many people are coming for some spiritual endeavor. So you find many people, they are doing parikramas. Or you find many people, some are doing dandavat parikrama. You see them, especially last month, during the month of Purushotama, so many dandavat parikrama were there. And or some may go to a temple to get the blessing of the sadhu. So the people who are doing all these things, they are not doing all this because they want Krishna Bhakti. It's not because they want to develop love for Krishna. They are doing all these things because it's basically fruitive activities. They are doing all these things for the purpose of getting some material benefit. It could be, like we call it dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These are the 4 goals of human life. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma means the religiosity. Then dharma, artha means the sense gratification, or the process. The artha means some kind of process that you get, which means the engagement in activities. That's artha, which give you material benefit. You get material benefit by such performance. And then kam is the sense gratification, whereby you perform your altar, the materialistic endeavors, and then you got the result, you got the calm, you enjoy yourself with it. Just like many people in the big cities, they work all week, and then at the end of the week, they get salary. And once they get salary, then they go to the clubs, they go to the bars to drink beers, or some go to cinemas, or some go to the naked clubs, naked dances, where they can see naked girls. This, of course, you don't find this in India, but you find this where I come from, in the West. So that is the calm you get. But of course, the moment you finish your enjoyment, your salary is finished, then you have to go back to work. But normally here in India especially, when people are performing altar, different kind of ritualistic, materialistic endeavor, they basically doing it so that they can get a long period of sense gratification, a long period of enjoyment. So when you perform, let's say you perform some sacrifice, you do some jaga, and this sacrifice, some sacrifice, if you perform nicely, you can go to the heavenly planet. You go to the higher planet, whereby you'll be there for a long period of time. You go to the planet of Indra Loka, you can drink every day. You will drink somaras, every day somaras. Somaras is a very nectarian drink. The most nectarian drink is the soma ras. You drink it, you no disease, long period of life. You live for a long time when you drink somaras. You know. So it's a thing. But the point is, when one go to this achievement, again, there's always the end of it. It finished a certain time. It finished. There is the as certain time, because let's say you go to the heavenly planet, but after certain period of time, again you have to come down again back to this earth. You have to come down again, fall down from that from the heavenly planet again, and then you have to again begin the process of again dharma artha kama. Now, for those who have developed great intelligence, so you mentioned here the last line is a yasya veda-vit. For those who have gained the understanding that everything material world is temporary. Everything material world is temporary. They've studied, they've seen it, so they want to put an end to it. They say that what is the purpose of this temporary material existence? What is the purpose of it? So therefore, they want to put an end to it. They want to put an end to it. So what happened is that all the various regulations which are mentioned in the Vedas, they give it up. They no longer take part in those processes which are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. They actually go to understand the Supreme, who is the basis of everything. To understand the Supreme, who is the basis of everything. So in the scripture, he said, Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudevam Parajnanam, Vasudeva Paramaka, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Parantapo, and Vasudeva Paramgati. So this is mentioned that Vasudeva is everything. The Vasudeva, now Vasudeva means Krishna. So Vasudeva Krishna is the goal of the austerities, is the goal of all sacrifices, he is the goal of all activities, he is the goal of all, is the goal of the Vedas, and ultimately he is the goal of life. Vasudeva Paramgati is the goal of life. Is the goal to be attained. So therefore, we have three processes, three stages of bhakti, let's say three understanding, three processes of bhakti. And this is called Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So, the process after abandoning all kinds of endeavor for ritualistic ceremonies, sacrifices, for sense gratification, and one wants to go to search out for the Supreme. So that process is called Sambandha, whereby one wants to search out for the Supreme and understand oneself, understand what is one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is the process of Sambandha. Sambandha means what connects us to God. What is our connection? You know, later on this chapter, a very wonderful chapter, because in this chapter, Krishna is going to reveal so many things. He's going to reveal so many things, you know. Krishna is going to say, as a Vedas, veda-vit, veda-vit, that the Veda, purpose of Vedas to know me. Krishna is going to say that all living entities are my part and parcels. So many things. That all living entities are part of him, and all living entities are meant to come to him. And then also the Lord is going to talk about his abode. What's his abode? That, what is that? Anyway, I was trying to remind this Sanskrit, but in English, the Lord is saying that abode of mine, there's no need of sun, there's no need of moon. That place is self-illuminated, and that place, when one reaches that place, one does not come down again. When one attains that yes, that place, one will not again come down once you attain that place. So all this is going to be explained in this chapter. So, as I was talking, that the initial process of understanding God after abandoning all the ritualistic endeavors is called sambandha. And of course, how do we know our sambandha? How do we know our relationship with God? What do we have? This is only done through the agency of a guru, of a self-realized guru. And then, once the sambandha is known, we know that, okay, we have a relationship, because everyone has a relationship with God. Now, how do we establish that relationship? Because the relationship must be established. So what is that process? What is that procedure? The process is called abhiday. Abhiday means the process or the endeavors by which one performs to connect oneself with God. This endeavor, abhiday, this is the process of bhakti, the process of devotional service. So this abhiday is well defined, is well detailed in the writings of the Goswamis of Vrindavan, especially Srila Jiva Goswami. He wrote one of his famous books, it's called Bhakti Sandarbha, whereby he gave full detailed explanation of how one performs devotional activities to the Lord. Now, the bhakti has got a goal. What is the goal of bhakti? The goal of bhakti is, this is called prayoja. Prayoja means the goal of life. So the goal of life, of course, as we understood, is the development of Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. This is the goal of life, prayoja. So you have sambandha, you have abhiday, and then you have prayoja. Sambandha, to know what is our connection with God, to know our identity, and then to know who God is, and to know, okay, we have a relationship, or we have the potential to have a relationship with Him. And once this is known, then what happens is that we engage in that in the procedure, the activities that enable us to attain God. This is bhakti. So Lord Krishna, he said in Arjuna, he said, Bhaktya Tvananya Yashakya Aham Veda was Pravestuncha Parantapa Aham Vedantu Arjuna Gyantu Drastu Chitatvena Pravestuncha Parantapa. So anyway, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that only by unalloyed devotional service can I be understood as I am. Because Lord Krishna was there, he was standing before Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. He was standing in front of Arjuna as Shyamasundar, two-armed Shyamasundar form. Normally, when Krishna is out of Vrindavan, is normally in four-arm form, not in two-arm form. For example, Vasudeva Krishna is four-armed, not two-armed. So which means everyone, when they see Krishna outside Vrindavan, they see Krishna in his four-armed. But on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, after showing the universal form to Arjuna, first Lord Krishna shows four-arm form, which is normal form when he's outside of Vrindavan. But then the Lord showed Arjuna is two-armed Shyamasundar form, two-armed form, Shyamasundar. When we have Radha Shyamasundar here, is two-armed. So the Lord displays these two arms to Arjuna while on the chariot. So Lord Krishna told Arjuna that yes, this form of mine can only be attained, can only be understood only by bhakti, by devotional service. There's no other way. There's no other way to see this form, only through bhakti only. Even when so many demons came to Vrindavan, many demons came to Vrindavan to try to kill Krishna, they thought, but they never see Krishna. They only saw the four-armed form of Narayana. And it's that four-armed form that they fought with, and it's that four-armed form that they were killed by. Krishna himself, his original form is only with his devotee. Only his devotees, his pure devotees, the Prem Bhaktas, they are the only one who can behold the beautiful form of Krishna, Shyamasundar. Not everyone else. So the demons, Asuras, when they came to Vrindavan, they only saw Krishna's Vishnu form. So as mentioned by our acharyas, that when Krishna is so-called killing the demons in Vrindavan, he's not doing so in his original form of Shyamasundar. He is doing so in his form of Vishnu form. Because when Krishna manifested himself here 5,000 years ago, because Krishna is the origin of all the avatars. It said that ite jan sakala punsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Anyway, Krishna is the origin of all the forms, is the source of all the forms, of all the avatars. So when Krishna appeared here in Vrindavan, so all the avatars, all the other forms, they also appear within the body of Krishna. Because within his body, all other forms is there. Because he's the origin of all the Vishnu forms. So the killing of the demons was done by the Vishnu form that is within Krishna. Not by Krishna, his original form, Shyamasundar form, he only interacts with the devotees only. And the devotees of Vrindavan, there are four rasa. There are four rasas: Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsayaras, and Madhuyaras. Four rasas that is there. So these four rasas, the devotees in Braj, they relate with Krishna according to their particular ras. So the devotees in the Dasyaras, like Raktak, so they relate with Krishna in that form only. And devotee in Sakyaras, like Sridham, Subal, Madhumanga, so they relate with Krishna in that form as a Krishna's friend, Sakyaras. And then devotees in Vatsayaras, Parenta, like Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Upananda, so many other elder Brajavasis. So they relate with Krishna that way, that Krishna is under our protection. Krishna is our child, and we are to protect Krishna. Even though Krishna is protecting everyone, because whenever there is any problems in Braj, whenever any demon comes, so all the BG-15s, they go and start calling out Krishna. Hey Krishna, hey Krishna. Like one time, Nanda Maharaj, he was being swallowed by a big snake. A big snake was about to swallow Nanda Maharaj. So immediately Nanda Maharaj called out to Krishna, say, hey Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He called out to Krishna. And Krishna came, immediately killed the demons. So even though the BG-15, they may see all these miraculous activities of Krishna, still they never think that, oh, Krishna is God. The sense of Bhagavan is not there. Yeah, they may see his power. Sometimes they acknowledge his power. Why? Because when Gagamuni had come to Vrindavan, and he told Nanda Maharaj that your son, he has the power of Narayan. He has the power of Narayan, your son. So therefore, and he's going to be the source of all your happiness, of all your bliss. So when the BG-15, the elder BG-15, whenever they see Krishna's wonderful activities such as killing the demons or lifting Govardhan hill, to them it's like, oh, Gagamuni, he made a nice prediction that Krishna will have the power of Narayana. So they never consider Krishna to be God. They just see Krishna as the most, great person, the most wonderful person. So the devotees in Vatsayaras, to them, it's like they want to protect, they want to give Krishna protection. Even though every devotee, one see Krishna as their only protector, see Krishna as their only maintainer. But devotees in Vrindavan, devotees in the Vatsayaras, they see themselves as the maintainer of Krishna. They see themselves as the protector of Krishna. You see? And that's why sometimes Mother Yashoda will sometimes chastise Krishna sometimes. But outside of Vrindavan, it's impossible. It's impossible. When Krishna went to Mathura and both Devaki and Vasudev, they saw that Krishna just killed Kamsa and so many big wrestlers. Krishna and Balaram killed them. So they saw these wonderful activities. And after the killing of Kamsa, so Krishna went to Devaki and Vasudev, and they paid his obeisances. But immediately, Vasudev and Devaki, they got up and they started offering prayers to Krishna. They said, oh Krishna, you are the Bhagavan, you are the Supreme Lord, So they started offering prayers to Krishna. But this is never the case in the Vrindavan. And then of course, the devotees who are in the Madhyaras, Shringararas, which is the topmost ras in Vrindavan. So, of course, the gopis who are the real recipients, let's say the real Astraya of this embodiment of loving dealings with Krishna. So anyway, so these 5 rases there by which one able to relish with Krishna. So this is prayojana, the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is what? Krishna Prema. And Chaitanya Prabhu, his teaching is that Krishna Prema Pumatu Maham. That yes, the ultimate goal of life is to love Krishna, is to develop love of Krishna. So anyway, we're going to get a hint of all this in this chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to stop here. If there is any question or comment, or any question, I'm stopping. So we should try to read. We should read the Bhagavad Gita every day, and also Bhagavatam. And then the more we do this, the more we will have all these understandings. Okay? So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Gopi Manande Hare Krishna.